good, y'all? Kabeh here again. Another week. I can't believe we made it to another week. And today we're gonna break down a sample off of my manifestation sample pack. It's a free sample pack available now on Outofideas. It's gonna be free for a whole month. So if you didn't download it yet, make sure to grab that. You also have the option to buy stamps for it for $5, and all the proceeds from that will go to a non-profit organization here in Brazil. So make sure that you download that. It's free for a whole month, so make sure to grab it. This is one of my favorite samples of the pack, so I just figured this would be a good opportunity to break this down. So y'all know how we do it. Let's hear this first, and then we come back and break this down. So let's hear it. Nice. This is super like synth heavy, melancholic type shit. I really like this one, to be honest. I really like it. So let's start breaking this down. Let's begin with the actual chords. So these are the main chords. And I think the theme here is the sound selection. There's not a whole bunch of shit going on, but the sounds, they make sense to be with each other. It's super synth heavy. It has that aesthetic, that style, and all those sounds that I picked, that I choose, that I designed, fit that aesthetic. So I think that's the theme here. Is the sound design. So beginning with those chords, this is a synclavier patch. Basically, I play a chord, and the chord starts 5 notes down, then it goes up to the actual note that I'm playing. This is another reason why I bounce everything to audio, because timing all that all those chords, because that glide, it takes the same amount of time for each chord. So when I bounce it to audio, I can stretch it and manipulate, so y'all can see it's chopped up, so it fits the tempo that I want. So that's basically it. It's just simple chords, but with a good patch that has that glide and that dynamic to it. So after I got those chords down, I probably did the bass, and this is the bass. Pretty simple bass. It's probably a batch off of the Mini Moog VST from Arturia. I use it all the time for basses. So it's probably just that. It's a pretty simple bass line. So after that, let's go into this other chords. These are just a couple stacks that I put. It's the same chords, the same progression, just a couple different stacks so I can use it on different parts of the sample. Nice. And these are from the Jupiter. Again, there's the glide to it. You can add glide to pretty much every synth, and I love doing that with chords. I think it sounds really nice, and it fits the same aesthetic, the same vibe from those first chords. So from that first sound. So I used these chords, these chord sounds, in the second part of the sample, like a verse or a hook or whatever. And after I did that, we got these two chords and this bass down. One thing that I was doing a lot of the time was doing a couple melodies to transition from different segments of the sample. So this is what we have here. That's basically it. It's just a lead sound that comes in before the second segment of the sample, so it transitions in a prettier way. This is basically the same melody playing two different sounds. And this other one. That's pretty much it. When we get to the second segment, to the hook part of the sample, I bring in this synth angels that I call. It's basically a bell type sound, a lead type sound. Yeah, it's more like a brass lead type sound. I don't remember which VST that I used. And I think what really adds to the melancholic vibe of the sample is this slide down that I did at the end of this run. I could have done it more in tune, to be honest, but I think it adds to that melancholic static that this has, this synth heavy melancholic vibe to it. I love doing this glides and pitch pitch shifts on my melodies. I think it sounds really nice. That's something that I do live most of the time while I'm playing with the pitch wheel on the controller on the keyboard. So this is how I did this. On this hook part, I also, I had to add some vocal chops. Play with the bass. So nice. This is for my boy CD's vocal pack. CD, my boy, released his vocal pack with a bunch of vocal samples and melodies and runs. And I love this specific one. I used it in a bunch of samples and a bunch of different samples. But yeah, this is from CD. As y'all can see, I chopped it up pretty bad. Like it's probably most because of the timing. Let's see the original. Yeah, basically I wanted to have this basing that I was looking for, so I chopped it up a lot to fit that. And this second part is just, I'm assuming, an octave up. So yeah, this is it for the vocal samples, the vocal chops. And also one thing that I did, and I actually do a lot, is add drums to it. I talked about it on a previous episode about drums. I like to add drums to give a certain pacing or certain sound. It sounds more like an actual song, something that someone would sample of an actual record. So this is the drum pattern. And when we hit the hook part, I have another drum section. You know me, I love to use drum loops and drum breaks on my samples. I think it adds a nice touch, sounds more vintage, sounds more real. And in this situation, I saw the opportunity to do this like pickup drum thing. Which also make it sounds more, I think, more different, you know. I love to do pickups on my samples. I think it's a nice touch. It sounds different from what most people do. So this is what I've done here. And I don't know if there is more to this. This is basically all the instrumentation for the sample. Mixing wise, it's not too complicated. For the bass, decapitator, Pro Q3 and a filter. The vocals, Pro Q3, doubler, Valhalla delay, Valhalla vintage verb. Lead sounds, Pro Q3 again, Valhalla delay and vintage verb. This is most of the stuff that I use. There's an equalizer on everything. Doubler I love to use on vocals. Delays and reverbs I love to use the Valhalla ones. I've been messing around with Echo Boy a lot recently, and another delay and reverb sounds, but at this time I was using only Valhalla. Pro Q3, Penman, this is something that I've talked about before too. Doing panning automation, so you don't have everything just, you know, right down the center on your sample. You can spread things around more. It sounds more like a soundscape and not just a bunch of stuff on top of each other. So Batman, those chords, Pro Q3 again, a chorus, Juno. This is a free plugin from Materia. I don't know if it's free anymore, but I downloaded it for free. It's like my go-to chorus. I use it all the time. It's modeled after the Juno 106 chorus. Again, Valhalla Fab Filter Pro Q3. It's the best equalizer out there in my opinion. Another Pro Q3 to do another low cut. I don't know why. Wider, I use wider a lot too. This is a free plugin also. And vintage verb. So this is pretty much it for this sample. Make sure to grab Manifestation on outofideas.com. It's free for a whole month, so make sure you grab it while it's free. If you have the money, you can buy the stems for $5. All the proceeds from that will go to a non-profit organization here in Brazil. So thank you if you watched to this point, and we'll see each other next week.